evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Friends of Liberty Republican Club. I had that memorized, by the way. And I would like to call upon John Fisher, well, he's not dressed as the patriot, revolutionary soldier, but we know that role that he plays is so magnificent. So he is going to lead us, not leave us, but lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please rise, everybody.
Thank you, Hilda. Would you remove your ball caps if you have any ball caps on or hats? Yarmulke's okay. Okay, all right. I stand corrected. Please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing.
So now we're going to give the blessing after. Okay, thanks. Now when we give
Can you move to the center? We don't see them.
Okay, good idea. Let's move this lectern too, so he could see us.
maybe that's better.
You could use that one. No, he's not gonna see you there either. Just right here, right, not here. Right there, right here, right here.
Perfect.
Good?
Perfect.
Anything to accommodate Fred Hadley, who
I
goes
wanna
out of
see
his
Shmuel.
way, even if he is a Democrat, to,
What? Say it on the microphone. Don't
oh,
conceal
you
it.
can hear me.
You don't want them to hear this.
No. Microphone.
Okay, thanks a lot, Fred. Anyway, I'm going to give the blessing that the priest used to give in the temple, and hopefully they'll do it very soon in the future. May the Lord bless you and guard you. May the Lord make his countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his countenance to you and grant you peace.
Amen.
Amen. So now tonight we're having the candidates night. And I wanted to think a little bit how it was 4 years ago and how it was today with, let's say, when you go to the
You
supermarket.
may sit.
Yeah, sit everybody.
I mean, he's not, he's not the Pope at all.
No, not the Pope. Okay,
Laurel.
I just want people to think, Ronald Reagan had a saying, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? So when you go to the supermarket, are you better off now than you were in 2019?
No.
Are the prices up or down?
Up.
The gasoline prices?
Up.
Schools? Down.
Down.
The schools down. So we see elections have consequences. So tonight, we're going to meet our esteemed candidates for the various offices, Congress, the County Commission, Sheriff, Board of Ed. And each one has an impact on what's going to be in the next few years. So without further ado, I'm going to give the mic back to Hilda.
He's so kind to me.
Good job, Sean.
Before we begin, I want to let you know that our next meeting is March 26th. It's a Tuesday night, and we're going to have a reprise of the Sheriff's Office team that talks about scamming, especially seniors. It was a wonderful presentation when they were here, and they had asked to come back. So I spoke to the Lieutenant Wall. I spoke to her today and let her know that we're interested in hearing from her again. She's interested in coming. So we shall see if she accepts that night. It's the 26th of March, and hope that you'll all come then. I know we have a little competition tonight. And it's not in here, it's in the clubhouse. There's a theater show going on. So we are doing what we can to get the message out to all of you. Now, well, I wanted to thank Shmuel because he does a good job in introducing the tone that we are looking at, what we are trying to upend only for good things. And that's the difficulty we're facing, as you know. So the primary candidates, these primary candidates are scheduled for August 20th. We are in the West Boca area. Boca, it's Boca West, really. And so we don't have the primary in all the municipal elections that are going on right now. That's for the eastern part, which is the city of Boca. What we do have on March 19th is the presidential primary election. This is an opportunity to vote and it's a closed primary. In other words, only Republicans for Republicans and Democrats for Democrats get to vote on March 19th. There is even early voting, March 9th through the 17th. So just keep that in mind. For those of you who live in Century Village, March 19th, which is the formal day, is in Century Village, the election. So let's go on now. I did all of that already, isn't that wonderful?
Hilda, I have a question. Do you have to register to vote early, a special registration for early voting?
No, and I'm so glad, Bob, you asked the brilliant questions. We have here tonight Jessica Jansen, who's going to close out the meeting. All about, we got a bot. Where are you, Giselle? Yeah, because this microphone, we have to teach it with, like a baby, you know,
Loving care.
kiss it or whatever. Anyway, so Jessica's going to talk about all of those kinds of subjects. Know if you're a registered Republican, you can vote early, and she will talk about vote by mail, critical, voting early. See what I mean? I didn't mean to do that. What? And then they just need it. Giselle, do you see what happens with this microphone? Take the other one. You have to keep her updating here. All right, anyway. So we're going to go right ahead in calling up our candidates for congressional seat 23. I was very excited to know that we actually have courageous people to go after the Democrat who was elected. And I will call you each up. We'll pull that chair over. You could sit. Is that okay, Mr. Photographer? Okay. And you'll have 3 minutes each. Okay? That will be round one. After all the candidates have their opportunity to speak, we will have a question that I will ask. I'm very good at that, you know, and I don't scare people, so don't worry about that question. Anyway, so our first candidate to come up here, and try to be brief. We have a long night. I especially felt that we should have everybody here tonight at the same time. So Joe, you got the first opportunity to speak. Do you want it? This one also works.
Okay.
If you want to do it sitting, he can get you on that then. Or you could stand. Whatever you like. Whatever you're comfortable doing, candidates,
You'll do, okay?
I'll stand.
I'll call you up each, and now I need someone to time it. Small. Okay? You'll get a 20-second time to summarize.
I better go fast.
Moment, okay? Joe Cup,
Okay,
Ready?
running for Congressional District 23.
go ahead, 717.
So I'm Joe Kaufman, I'm running for United States House of Representatives. I just want to introduce really quick my wife Emily. Emily's a high school teacher at the Boca Cats Yeshiva. She teaches Hebrew and Spanish. And my daughter Ruth, my beautiful daughter. She goes to Boca Cats Hillel. Anyway, so I'll tell you a little bit about my life. I do counterterrorism research, writing, and lectures. I'm a Shillman Fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center, and I do work for the Middle East Forum. My work has resulted in the shutdown of terrorist charities and the imprisonment of terror-related individuals. You heard about that event that was going on in Coral Springs, that pro-Hamas conference. I was the individual that led the shutdown of that organization and that conference. Thanks. I'm a lifelong Republican, and I want you all to know that. Is it strange here? And I believe, like our founding fathers of this great nation, in protecting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I also believe in what the good book says: be strong and courageous. I am strong, I am courageous, and I'm also consistent. You won't see me as a lifelong Republican. I have never supported gun control. I have never, as a lifelong Republican, supported this fake notion of this climate crisis. And you can sure as heck understand and know that as a lifelong Republican, and even if I were a Democrat, I would never pose for photos with Nancy Pelosi. I was born in Detroit. I grew up in Yonkers, New York. I was raised by my grandparents. My grandmother, she used to always take me. She took me door to door at 10 years old for Ronald Reagan, somebody that we both loved. She took me to the Reagan rallies. When I was at the University of Maryland, I joined the College Republicans. I was the assistant producer for G. Gordon Liddy, another great man. When I came to Florida, right away I became a committeeman for the Broward County Republican Executive Committee, and I served in a number of positions for the Broward County Young Republicans, including the vice president of the group. I got my first writing position. I'm a writer. I write for Front Page Magazine. I've written for National Review. I write for these Middle East Forum publications. I got my first writing position from Jeb Bush, writing for his magazine Impact, and I co-founded the Republican Jewish Coalition, the first chapter in the state of Florida. I stood on the stage. I'll be right off. I stood on the stage with President Trump in 2012 when he announced that he was going to run for president. And he didn't run then, but in 2016, my wife, my daughter, and I. My daughter was in the stroller. We strolled them in. We were the first people in that room to see President Trump at CPAC say that he was going to be running for president in 2016. And he held my daughter, and I remember that very well. Anyway, thanks so much. It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Catch your breath. And next, someone I am familiar with, Darlene Swaffer.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Hildy, for inviting me. I really appreciate it. My name is Darlene Cerezo Swaffer. I'm a small business owner, I'm a mom, and I'm a South Florida resident for 30 years. I ran for Congress actually in this seat in 2022, and many of you may not know that we had amazing things that happened in the campaign. I outraised all my opponents, I had the most endorsements, I had a private meeting with President Trump where he said he was going to endorse my campaign if I won the primary. And I had some significant endorsements, and once that happened, I was politically attacked in a very severe way. We had a political operative come in, file a lawsuit against me in the campaign 2 months before the primary election. And here is what happened. I had represented myself pro se. I was successful in getting that case thrown out of court. And now he's got to pay my attorney fees. I also witnessed fraud in my case with regards to election integrity and filed a complaint against the supervisor of elections in Broward and Palm Beach County. I am a fighter, okay? And that's what a lot of precinct men and women in our community in Broward and Palm Beach County know about me. I will fight for you, okay? I have already endorsements. We just declared Bob McEwen, who's the chairman of the Council for National Policy. I have the endorsement of the mayor of Deltona, Santiago Villa Jr. We also have the endorsement of President Trump's personal attorney, Peter Tickton. They were college roommates. He's endorsed our campaign for Congress, as well as Latinos for America First. And we have commitments from the Florida Republican Assembly, as well as the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. Those are forthcoming. We're already moving like a freight train. So you either are on this train and we're going to win this race against the Smurf Democrat, Jared Moskowitz. We need to make him a one-time congressman, okay? And we have 3 planned events already. So I'd love for all of you to support our campaign. It's voteswaffer.com. You'll see my platform, which is very detailed. You may know me as the Medicare lady. I've been in the Medicare industry for 13 years. I have a Medicare health insurance agency and a team of 20 agents. And we have recommendations on how to improve the solvency of Medicare. I have recommendations on increasing the income benchmark for seniors from $35,000 to $92,000. That should have been adjusted with inflation over the last, several decades since it was implemented in the Reagan era, which was like around 1984. And I have a very comprehensive platform, and some of which include protecting Israel. Israel, the Jewish people are God's chosen people. It's biblical. We need to protect Israel. I hope that you'll join my campaign in any capacity that you can, whether it's fundraising with us, hosting an event, volunteering, and joining our team. Again, it's voteswaffer.com, VOTESWAFFAR.com. We have palm cards that we handed out. If anybody has questions, please come up and join us. Thank you.
And our final congressional candidate, Mr. Weinroth, please. His first name is Michael, I memorized that.
Why, thank you very much. Again, my name is Robert Weinroth. You've probably heard my name before because I was on the city council for 4 years, where I was deputy mayor for one of those years, and then I went on to the county commission. What you probably don't know is that at that time I was a Democrat and made the decision that this was not a party that I could stick with. I walked away from that party because it was too woke for me. I walked away from that party because that party has turned its back on Israel, and looked at the squad and looked at the way that Jared Moskowitz has tolerated the squad and said this is not a friend of Israel and this is not a friend of our community. Now, it's great, thank you. It is great to have so many wonderful candidates up here today, because 2 years ago, when Jared ran against Joe Budd, he only won by 4 points. In fact, Joe beat him in Palm Beach County. We have a real opportunity to flip this seat. This seat could be blue. Red. But the fact is, if we get this seat to be a Republican seat, we have more of a chance of holding the majority in the House. Right now, it's a very slim majority. We lost Santos' seat. We're going to have Kevin McCarthy's seat up soon. We don't know which way that's going to go. We need every Republican, and we need to work together, and you need to pick the best candidate who is going to be able to stand up against Jared and be able to win this seat and make it red so that we have a majority in November. So my platform is on my website. Certainly the biggest concern to me right now is the border. We have let more migrants into this country, unvetted, and the fact that we have not had a terrorist attack since all this happened is just that we're just lucky. And we need to do something to deal with immigration, and that means having a comprehensive program to deal with immigration. And then the economy. We have a $34 trillion deficit. Trillion. To give you a comparison, our defense budget is not even that much. So take the amount of money that it takes to finance the $34 trillion, just the interest, forget about paying it off, and it squeezes out all the other programs, Social Security, Medicare, things that you want. It's important that we get people up there who understand government, and we will definitely make sure that we have a Republican in Florida's 23rd Congressional District. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the three of you. They were terrific. So nice to know we had the wonderful candidates here this evening. This is not my speech.
You can keep it.
Thank you so much for sharing. I love people who share. All right, so now, I'm going to ask the three of you to answer this question, okay? And the question I have is, what is your plan? You'll come up individually. What is your plan to beat Jared Moskowitz, who has been very vocal in support of Israel, but a loyal member of the Democrat herd? And now, can we have Joe come up, please, and see if you can answer that as well? About 2 minutes. Okay?
Sure.
Because we want to get through all the candidates tonight.
Okay, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Go.
Jared Moskowitz, I don't think this guy really cares about the issues. I think he cares more about his appearance than he does the issues. He wears these fancy checkered suits. He wears these sneakers. In fact, if you go on his Facebook page, every single time he takes a photo, he's got this new pair of Nike Air Jordans on. And that to me says that somebody is not serious about running for office or being in office. Well, to beat him, look, it's like Robert said. Joe Budd only lost by 4 percentage points. I believe if his name was Kaufman instead of Budd, he would have won. And the reason is, and it's very simple. Look, in the synagogues have become packed with Republicans. Just like this area is getting more Republican, all of South Florida is getting more Republican. But since they had this number at D+5, I ran against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I was a Republican nominee in 2014, 2016, and 2018. And that was a D+11, D+14 at the times when I was running, I believe. And I came close in 2016. I got close to 41% of the vote. The truth is that at that time, I split the Jewish vote, which will be the case if I'm the candidate going up against Jared Moskowitz. I have a very big relationship, which I've built over decades with the synagogues in Palm Beach and Broward County, where I'm from, and we're actually moving to the area because my wife and daughter are both in Boca at the schools. So I believe that in the end, I reach communities that other candidates can't. My wife is also originally from Peru. She lived in Israel for a number of years. When I ran against Debbie Wasserman Schultz, we moved many of the Hispanic communities in a very big way. If you put all of that together, I will win this election. And I truly believe that I'm going to win this election, and I have a fantastic chance of doing so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Darlene? I should really use the word, how are we gonna whip him?
As with any campaign, you need quite a few things. You need name brand recognition, which I believe our campaign has. Having personally knocked on over 10,000 doors in our grassroots efforts last go around, we have a little bit of a competitive edge. By the end of this month, we will have activated 100 volunteers that are ready to hit the ground running. That's where we are as a campaign. I just filed my FEC and we already have endorsements. It's gonna take money. I believe I'm gonna outraise all my competitors. And at this point, looking at their FEC financials, they're all operating in the negative. I haven't seen one that's operating in the positive. We will be in the positive in just short of a week, okay? So that's where we are as the campaign. And as far as Joe Budd losing, Joe Budd lost because he threw President Trump under the bus when he did the interview saying that Joe Biden won the presidency. And then he got thrown off of Trump 45 Club. So when the Patriots heard this, they didn't come out and vote for him. That's what's his losing competitive advantage. That's my advantage. I'm a patriot first. Everyone in the community knows that. I believe I'm the strongest candidate in the race. I'm uniquely qualified to address issues that no other candidate in the nation can address, namely Medicare. I'm an expert in Medicare, health insurance, Social Security. I went to the border. I went to the Texas border, met with patrol agents, and I have a platform issue on my website, and I have a plan for enhancing education for our children, rebuilding the American family, and I also focus on economic development, and that's one of my strengths in my background is economic development. So I hope that you all get behind the Swaffer for Congress campaign. Vote Swaffer. Thank you.
And again, I repeat what I said before, because we are really blessed to have viable candidates, strong candidates, who are willing to take Jared on. The fact that there are going to be 5 of us in the primary at this point, could be 6. The fact is, it shows that we know there's blood in the water. The fact is, like I said before, he only won by 4 points. And this was a D+8 district when we reorganized the districts in 2020. It's now a D+4, and it's probably maybe a D+3, which means the Democrats are out registering us by 3%. But the NPAs are the key to this. There's a lot of our friends who came down here from New York and New Jersey. They're really Republicans, but they don't want to admit it. So they're NPAs right now. And the fact is, they are going to be on our side when we go to the ballot in November. It's important that we stick together. And whoever the nominee is, I pledge to support. And I hope that my opponents will take that same pledge, that each one of us needs to be here for the party, not for ourselves. It's important that this seat be held by a Republican. And whether it's Mr. Kaufman or any of the other opponents who are in this race, whoever wins in August needs to have the full support of the Republican Party. So that's why I'm running, because if we don't change the trajectory of what's going on in Washington, we're not going to have a country. Thank you.
I just want to make a comment about something you said, Michael, that we haven't yet had a terrorist event. Well, I'm not quite in agreement. When you watch the violence of the Hamasniks, who are become very aggressive wherever they are marching, wherever they feel they have a crowd large enough not to worry about the consequences. To me, that's terrorism in not a small way, but a huge way. Maybe even more than a planned, which I think can very well happen, and you listen to all of the experts about the potential of that. But this in and of itself to me, is terrorism. When they are attacking school by school, university by university, and when you ask them what it is that Hamas stands for, they don't have a clue. It's just very exciting, to stand there and yell. In other words, we're in a very serious and dangerous situation for all of us, And now it is my pleasure to call upon Laurel Diaz. And I don't know whether to call you Captain, Lieutenant, Colonel, because I like to call you all those things.
Hopefully Sheriff.
Sheriff Laurel Diaz.
Okay, 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
3 minutes.
My wife's going to pass out. She's standing right here. She's going to pass out my palm cards so that way I don't take my 3 minutes to talk about myself and my qualifications. I will say this. I am more than qualified to be your sheriff of Palm Beach County. So let's just put that on the table and get it out of the way so we can get to the good stuff. We're failing you as a law enforcement agency. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office is failing you. We're not taking our duties and responsibilities as serious as we should. Let me give you an example. There's a false sense of security in our schools, right? Our schools, we believe, because there's an SRO, a school resource officer there, or because it belongs to the Palm Beach County Police Department, school board police department, that the sheriff's department is not responsible. That's incorrect. That is 100% incorrect. The sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of the county, and he or she is responsible for all security in all municipalities of the county. You have a chief of police in the city, which works great for the city, but sometimes the city can't handle certain acts. We were just talking about terrorism. There's not one police department in this county that can handle, God forbid, a terrorist attack without the assistance of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. It'll never happen. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office is approximately 5,000 men and women department with top-notch SWAT team, top-notch hostage negotiations, top-notch aviation unit, marine unit, explosive unit, and so forth. I know because I commanded each and every one of those units. I was a SWAT commander. I was also a hostage negotiator commander. I have almost 40 years of law enforcement experience. But the point I want to make is the schools. Think for 1 second. We've all been to schools. It doesn't matter what country you went to. We've all been to a school one time or another in our lives. Those of you that have been involved in a shooting, like I have, those of you that served in the military, like I have, like I have, will know that sometimes when shots are fired in a area where there's a lot of buildings, you really don't know where those shots are coming from. So it's extremely important that each law enforcement officer, men and women, knows the layout of each school in our county. What does that mean? That every officer is going to know the layout of every school? That's impossible. However, every officer that has a school in their zone of responsibility, their sector, he or she will meet with that school resource officer under my command and will walk that school and know the layout of that school. They will also have access to the doors and so forth of those schools. They will train with the school resource officer. We at the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office have the largest training division probably in the state of Florida. So we can definitely bring a lot more to the table than school board police can. We train together, we respond together, time, response, saves lives, right? This is why it's very important. We're not doing that right now. We're just simply saying, that school board police department, that's one officer who's barely trained. They train to the bare minimum. The 40 hours mandated by FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. That's what they train to every year. That does not cut it. So that's one thing that I'm going to change, number one. Number two, victims of domestic violence. Do you know that we go back to the same home over and over again to the same victim 8, 10, 15, 20 times? I know because I did it myself. So we keep going back, we're wasting resources, we're wasting money, we're really not doing anything for these victims. We're going to provide transportation to reunite them with their families and their loved ones so that we can get them out of that environment. And we're going to do it at no cost to you, the citizens of Palm Beach County. Are we out of time?
Yeah.
God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
All right. They did great. We really have a shot at accomplishing something. And when I say whip, that means with a little hug for Jared as he loses. Really, we can't be nasty. We have to be forthright. We have to do things the right way. Not attack each other for sure, but we have to do things the right way all the time. All the time. That's, to me, is what wins ultimately. Now we're up to. So I thank each of you, Joe, Darlene, and Michael. And Laurel?
Robert.
Robert, I keep calling you Michael.
That's okay.
No, it's not.
I come to
But I have to tell you something, I do that a lot lately. Not really. Thank you, Robert. I don't know why I have that as Michael, maybe somebody gave that to me, I'm sorry. And Laurel, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm a little shy calling a sheriff by his first name, but thank you so much for coming. And he's got a gorgeous wife, did you notice? Now we're going to turn to the Palm Beach County candidates. First, well, we don't have Mike here, do we? No, Mike didn't come. Okay, Suzanne.
What about John?
Oh, we'll do him at the end.
Ladies first.
Yeah, not a problem. Come.
You're so considerate.
Well, I try.
You'll have a chance momentarily.
I can't imagine you being shy. You're certainly not shy with me, dear.
Never shy.
3 minutes.
Thank you so much for letting me come here tonight. Hilda knows that when I talk about our kids, I get fired up because I love them. I've been a college professor, a teacher on the college level for 30 years and counting, which means I get the K through 12 product that our failing school system turns out. And sometimes it gets me very upset because they're ill-prepared or they're not prepared. We're supposed to build a schoolhouse from kindergarten through 5, that's a foundation. A middle school is your walls, and your high school is your roof. Well, by the time I get them in college, and they want to put an addition on the house, it falls because it's just not sturdy enough. That has to change. Our children are stressed, our teachers are stressed, our parents are stressed. The children aren't happy. They're not learning. They have a woke curriculum that they're following. This is not right. We have to turn the page back to common sense education. And I have a 5-point plan. And I do have a doctorate, PhD in economics from the University of Illinois. And I graduated there many years ago. That's how I can say I have 30 years and ongoing. Before I came here, I was grading statistics problem sets. I have a 5-point plan to turn the page back to common sense education. And that is all-encompassing. We have to evaluate the system as it is right now, its strengths and weaknesses. We have to engage the community and people in the community and put together groups and open forums. And this is a team effort. This is a grassroots effort where we take care of our kids. We take back the education of our children. We're going to look at that budget, that's $5.2 billion. Where's the money? And the school system cannot say that they're not failing the students because there is an exodus to homeschool education, as there should be, and some private schools. We're going to look at teachers. We've got some great teachers out there. They're wonderful, and we need to take care of them because they're stressed too, and the parents are stressed. And we have got to have transparency and accountability. These guys have never had their feet held to the fire. Well, when I'm on that board, they're going to have their feet held to the fire. They may not like me, and we might get pushback, and this might be an aggressive plan, but you know what? We're going to take care of our kids because I love them. And someone sent me, I have to read you this. It was sent to me on my phone today, and I think this is beautiful. It says, imagine if schools actually help kids identify their strengths by exploring their talents from a young age and growing their skills over the 12 years instead of letting them all follow the same routine and leaving them confused in life after graduation. I mean, that's perfect. And that's what we need to do with our kids. I love them. Please go to votesuzannepage.com. I am like everybody else. We need money, we need volunteers, we need petitions signed. But please, help me out. Send me to the board and I'll take care of our kids. Thank you.
Mike isn't here, so we're going to go on right now and give you both an opportunity to tell us how you're going to win. Laurel first. which is what our other candidates, Robert and Darlene and Joe, had enough to say. 2 minutes.
How you gonna raise-
Well, as Darlene mentioned earlier, I ran back in 2020 also, and we received a little bit over 250,000 votes. So name recognition for the most part, it's already kind of there. We needed 325,000 votes to win, running against a 16-year incumbent who was in his prime. The fact of the matter is our sheriff is non-existent for the most part. Not because of anything personal, I'm not going to talk negative about him, I'm not going to talk about his health or issues or whatever, but the fact of the matter is he's been non-existent. There's been a number 2 guy running the department, it's gone downhill. Everybody knows it, you guys know it. I am a law and order sheriff, deputy my entire career. Law and order is what I stand for, law and order is what I'm going to bring back. I am not into your social programs like my opponent is. Social programs is great for social workers. That is a law enforcement agency that needs to be ran and led by a real cop. A law and order cop who's going to say no to crime, no to terrorism. And by the way, I have a master's degree in Homeland Security and Emergency Management, graduate with a 4.0, specializing in not only terrorism, but natural disasters, something that we see here in Palm Beach County, unfortunately, every summer with hurricane seasons and so forth. So I think it's a no-brainer. I have the drive, I have the education, I have the stamina, and I believe in 100% transparency. That budget is going to be out on the Palm Beach Post so you guys can read our budget. We're talking about budget, $1 billion. $1 billion of that is just for the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Now, I'm not saying if we need it or we don't need it. I won't know that until I'm sitting on that seat. But I will tell you this, it's going to be posted on the Palm Beach Post. And you're going to see exactly what I spend your money on. And if you don't like it and you don't agree, then you vote my butt out in 4 years. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, you got 1 vote right here.
Well, in 2020, the Republican Party drafted me. Michael Barnett called me the day before the final day that you could declare. Quarter 11, ring, ring. Michael Barnett, I better take that call. I was a cheerleader. Can you hear me?
No.
Okay.
It's
I
very
took the call. Hello,
temperamental, this.
Dr. Page, you gotta run. And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm not a politician. I'm a single mom. I was a wife at one point. I had a daughter who went through school here, so I know, but I'm not a politician. But he said, I was not getting off the phone until I agreed to run. I said, Michael, I am a school teacher. What do I know? I have no money. We don't make any money as school teachers. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. So, okay, we take care of it. So I went and I registered. I had 1 month to campaign against Frank Barbieri. Yeah, Barbieri, thank you. He was a 12-year incumbent at that point. They called me a disruptor. Everything I said was true. I got kicked off Facebook for a little while because I was I can get aggressive with our kids because I love them.
I never saw that.
I know, you never saw that, Hilda. You never tell me. Try to be calm. I'm trying to be calm tonight, Hilda. I didn't win, but on election night, again, quarter 11, Michael Barnett, okay, hello. He says, I don't know if I can say this, you ran one hell of a campaign. And I said, well, I didn't win. He said, doesn't matter, you took over 40% of the vote away from a 12-year incumbent. So I have some name recognition, and here I come. I'm unstoppable. We have to take care of our kids, because I love them. Even the ones that drive me crazy. And that's a 5-point plan, that's going to change things. So help me out.
Alrighty, I think we're doing great, aren't we? They're just wonderful. So now I do have to talk a little bit about who is not here. Peggy, our State House Representative, Peggy Gossett-Seidman, who won unexpectedly for the Democrats, but for us, I'm saying for them it was unexpected. How was it that we beat them with a very popular young man who's running again for something, I think. Anyway, she is up in Tallahassee working her butt off. Sorry about But she's working very hard. She's representing our community in wonderful ways and is so responsible that she felt that she had to stay there. The legislature is in session. And the other person who is not here, for the similar reason, and she's a candidate, and we adore her, we love her, and that's our good friend, Jody Schwartz. She is running for state committee woman. And we know right now she's unopposed. We want to make sure she goes the distance. And so now I'm going to call upon someone else who is unopposed. John Fisher, running for county commission. So let's hear from you. And John is running for District 5 Commission, and so are our candidates for school board, District 5. That you should know, we are in District 5, Century Village, and many, many other precincts. And so it is a pleasure to introduce to you our patriot. He's not dressed tonight properly. We're used to seeing him in his soldier outfit as a revolutionary, and he is a revolutionary, but not tonight.
Thank you, Hilda. And I think I'm going to do away with the. Everybody can hear me, correct?
What?
I can do without the microphone. My name is John Fisher, and I'm running for County Commissioner, District 5, which is this district. I am a 27-year career paramedic firefighter captain working the fire station right outside the gate here. Okay, so I served Century Village for 27 years. I am an America First constitutional Republican, okay? That's very important to me because some of the Republicans that I see out there don't really fit that mold, that role. So I just want to be upfront about that immediately. What got me into this race was a traffic safety issue right out in front of my community, Escondido, which I've lived there for 35 years now. And so what that did was cause me to jump into a little bit of a deep dive into the county budget, okay? Right now we have a budget of $7.7 billion, okay? $7.7 billion. They lowered the millage rate, your property ad valorem taxes, from 4.71 to 4.5, but your taxes went up 13%, okay? You heard Shmuel say before what we're in right now as far as the economy goes, everything's through the roof. Okay, so these taxes are out of control. What I also learned by jumping into this race and having contact still within the county government, okay, which I was a staff, by the way. The county commissioners have to act on what staff feeds them. I was staff. I know how the game is played. I know how the system works. Okay, so you know what you're seeing right now with a $7.7 billion budget is decades of liberal buildup. Okay, waste. There's a whole lot of waste in there, and I want to get in and find it, and I want to get rid of it. And one of the things I want to do is bring in outside set of eyes. They have auditors within the system. They have auditors that are on the payroll within the county. I want to bring an outside auditor in to take a look at the books and see what we can get rid of. And there's a lot to get rid of. So Benjamin Franklin was asked, are we a democracy or a republic? His answer was a republic if you can keep it. Everything you've heard here tonight from everybody else of what's going on at the top is filtering down to the bottom. We're in trouble. This country is in trouble. And they say get involved locally. That's what I'm doing, get involved locally. Because that's what George Soros is doing. He's tapping into the local levels. That's how he's attacking us. So we need to attack it from the local level. My name is John Fisher. My website is johnfordistrict5.com. Hilda is helping me out greatly within the village. I need to get every building from Ainsley to Yarmouth as far as my petition drive goes. Just 5 or 6 per meeting, that's not enough. I need to really get it. So there's a captain list out there for people to sign up for a captain, get involved that way. Please, I need help. Thank you very much.
How many of you who live in a particular building, and it's not just Century Village, are willing to help our, you can hear me. I was a teacher, you know what teachers can do. Where's the, oh, there it is, okay.
Our candidates need your help. And the way we're going to organize this, because we did this already once before, and it's the only way that it works, especially as we get closer to August 20th and November 5th. And that is, if you are in a building, and in Century Village we've been having workshops for organizing, getting out the vote. And at our next workshop, March 5th, we're going to use walking lists that I'm going to distribute to the folks who come. In any event, if you are willing to be a captain in your building, come to that March 5th meeting, because we'll show you how to do it if you think you don't know how. Everybody knows how to talk to a neighbor, and that's what it's about. So please sign up on that sheet outside. If you are in a particular building, you don't want to be a captain necessarily, but you do want to help our candidates. John needs those petitions. Otherwise, he has a big bill to pay in order to be placed on the ballot. So will you do that? How many of you are ready to do that? Don't all jump at once. Come on, raise your hands. We need you. We really need you. All right. And now, a little bit of a surprise. I don't know if John is surprised. He's hard to surprise. And because he's unopposed, and he's running for county commission, Friends of Liberty Republican Club is pleased to endorse him.
Wow. Congrats, John.
How many of you like that idea? Yes, that's what we're gonna do, John.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hilda.
Look, he actually blushes, look at that. That's amazing, yes. We are endorsing you, you're unopposed, we wanna keep it that way.
Thank you so much.
And very happy that you're doing such, this man is all about service. If you've ever gotten a visit from one of these fire rescue teams, you know that's what they're about. And so he's continuing it after retiring as captain of that fire rescue team. He's continuing in that vein of service to the community by running, and those of you who are candidates, that's not an easy job. The job of running is not easy. There's a lot of effort and nights that you don't sleep, and the walking and the talking. You need to have lozenges in your pocket for all the talking you do. So I'm very pleased with the candidates who have turned out tonight, and your presentations have been really wonderful and engaging. You've really communicated with us. Do you have they were able to speak twice. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Yes.
Always.
First and foremost, thank you, Hilda, and the board for endorsing me. That is huge. And what that brings to mind, I'm going to be doing my patriotic performance. If those of you who have not seen me do it, I dress up in a colonial American soldier's uniform, and I take you through the whole history of the United States from July 4th, 1776 till today in 3 minutes. So another club, a Republican club, that's going to be endorsing me, and they're going to be announcing it on March 7th, is the Conservative Club of Valencia Reserves in Boynton Beach. And they're going to have a keynote speaker. I can't remember who it is, but it's going to be a good one. So that's March 7th. So if you can make that one, please come and cheer me on and give a good round of applause to them for endorsing me as well. So thank you.
Now I'm going to turn to you, and if you have any questions, are there any folks who have a question of any of our candidates? Okay, in other words, you answered everything in anticipation of what they could be asking. How beautiful is that? That is really wonderful. So it's now my pleasure to call upon Jessica Jensen. She is the Director of South Region for the Republican Executive Committee. And she's going to tell you all about what your responsibility as a voter is. I think that's what she's going to talk about. Anyway, Jessica.
Thank you, Frida. We love you, Jessica! Thank you. Yes, I am your South County Regional Director for the Republican Executive Committee in Palm Beach County. I have a meeting that I held the third Tuesday of every month. Everybody's welcome to attend. I'm sure Hilda will give that information as well. But what we do is with the Republican Party, we help talk about candidates, who's running, and we also talk about local issues, what's going on in the municipalities and in the county, and make sure that you're dialed in and you get enough, as much information as possible to make sure that you are an educated voter. So Hilda asked me to talk a little bit about voting. Most of you, who voted, who has a vote by mail ballot that they received already? Hopefully everybody was able to request their vote by mail ballot. Make sure that you bookmark and make note of votepalmbeach.gov. That's our Supervisor of Elections website. You can get all of your up-to-date election information on there as far as the countywide races. You can see what candidates are running. You can see where your early polling locations are, all of that kind of stuff. So since this is unincorporated Palm Beach County, your ballot probably looked pretty light. You probably looked front and back and went, this is it? That's all you have. So you have your presidential preference primary that it will be on your ballot, whether you do it vote by mail or in person. When you are unincorporated, you don't have to deal with any of the municipal aspects of things. You can still vote early, and those vote early dates are the 9th through the 16th at your early polling location. I believe the closest one would be the West Palm Beach Library, if I'm not mistaken, or the West Boca Library, I mean. Yes, and so that is going to be open from March 9th to the 16th, that you can do your early voting in person if you want. If you got your vote by mail ballot, you do not have to necessarily mail it in if you don't want to, but you can take your ballot to the polling location with you if you vote in person. And they'll take it from you, they will spoil the ballot, and you can be able to vote right there. If you forget your mail-in ballot, you give them your driver's license, you give them your voter ID card, and they will make sure that you are able to vote. A couple things I want you to be aware of is that ballots were printed before December, so there's a lot of primary candidates for presidential on there that are no longer technically in the race. So they qualified in Florida, so they're still on the ballot. So you still have like Ron DeSantis, I think Chris Christie was still on there, and Vivek Ramaswamy is still on your ballot. So they have officially remove themselves from the race, but they're still going to be on the ballot. The only valid candidates on your preference primary ballot is Donald Trump and Nikki Haley. So just make sure that you're voting for one of those candidates, and preferably the first one for most of us, I believe, in this room. So make sure you show President Trump the love here in Palm Beach County, and make sure that he gets that vote. A couple other things is that the deadline to register to be able to vote in the presidential preference primary has passed. That was February 20th. So you can't make any changes to your voter registration at this point until you get back into the August. So you'll have 29 days before the August election in order to make any changes. If you have family that are moving, they can register to vote. They can use that website, that votepalmbeach.com, that votepalmbeach.gov website to be able to get all of that information to be able to register. Early voting is really kind of a sport here in Palm Beach County, and what's really exciting is I created an event back in 2022 called Party at the Polls. And so we're going to do that for municipals, August, and the general election, which is basically a group of volunteers. If you were at the West Boca Library last year, I know we had several volunteers from Century Village man that polling location. And it was awesome to see everybody come out and be able to make sure that there was a Republican there so people could come out and ask questions and know who to vote for.
Or haunt us.
And so we want to make sure that we're able to do that as well. I don't have a whole lot of volunteers for the unincorporated for the presidential primary because it's smaller, of course. So, but you are more than welcome to man your polling location. So if you want information how to do that or regarding that, so please speak to me or Hilda. The Party at the Polls, we're doing the municipal locations. I have a few flyers here. I just put this flyer together, so I don't have a whole lot of copies. But if anybody wants to take pictures of it, or I can give out the few that I have. We're supporting Brian Stenberg in the city of Boca Raton. So we're manning those municipal early voting locations. So we're going to be at the Spanish River Library, and we're going to be at the Boca Raton Library. South County, my region, also incorporates Boynton Beach, Delray Beach, Ocean Ridge, and Briny Breezes. The only other race that I have in South County is Delray Beach. So we're doing early polling location, Party at the Polls on Saturday in Delray Beach, which is right after the St. Patrick's Parade. So we're going to be there from 2 to 6. And so this is just an opportunity and I want all of the 2024 candidates at these locations if possible, because this is where your voters are. This is where they are going to be voting. So what a great opportunity for you to meet your voters and get them thinking about you now in March instead of waiting till August and November. This is a fun, exciting event. We have music, we have like little blow up things, we have an eagle, and it's just a lot of fun where you get to connect with your community and find out what's going on and talk to like-minded people. So we have a really good time doing that, and that's going to be Saturday, March 16th and Sunday, March 17th. So if you are interested in manning a early polling location or volunteering for those events, please let us know. I did have a small call to action as well. We have a couple candidates in Ocean Ridge and Green Acres that are looking to be able to sail through their election come March 19th, and they're looking for volunteers as well. So if anybody's interested in helping local candidates, please let me know that are on the ballot for March. We need emailing, calling, texting, all of that kind of stuff in order to make sure that we get our municipal candidates over the finish line as well. This is unincorporated, but there's a lot of things that happen in the city of Boca Raton that do affect you here. So it is important to know who your city council is, what they're doing, and what they stand for. Hilda mentioned the person that ran against Peggy Gossett Seidman, which was Andy Thompson. He's running against Brian Stenberg in the city of Boca. This is a very heated race. So all hands on deck. So if anybody can help support Brian in that race, whether it's a few donations or volunteering for him, please let us know. We need as much help as we can get. From what I understand is Andy Thompson is pouring a lot of money in this campaign, from Facebook advertising. He is emailing Democrats, Republicans, and NPAs. So just be aware that that information is out there. So if you have somebody that lives in the city of Boca, please tell them to vote for Brian, because it's very important. Does anybody have any questions regarding vote by mail or voting in general that I can be able to try my best to answer for you today? Yes, Bill.
You mentioned for the early voting for 19th, that you're on the weekend of the 16th and 17th.
Mm-hmm.
Where were those two locations going to be at? Or three? There were three.
Yeah, so on Saturday, March 16th, we're going to be at the Delray Beach Community Center from 2 to 6. On Sunday, March 17th, we're going to be at the Spanish River Library from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And on Sunday, March 17th, we're going to be at the Boca Raton Downtown Library from 4 to 6 p.m.
2nd Avenue, you know.
Yep,
That's
yep.
near the Bright Line.
Yes, yes it is. So we're gonna have a lot of fun getting that out. Also, just to mention, I do have a podcast, We the Locals Podcast, where you can get all of this up-to-date information regarding municipalities and local things that are going on in Palm Beach County and Broward County. If you're interested in volunteering for any of our candidates for the March election, please reach out to me as well. I do have business cards. I'd happy to give them to you so you can contact me. If there's no further questions, thank you for your time tonight. Be sure to vote, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me and Hilda. We want to make sure we get all of our candidates to the finish line. Thank you so much.
We are so lucky to have her as director. She was elected to the position. It's not an official, council or anything like that, but it's official
It
for
felt
us.
official to me.
No, it felt official to us. And so we have great respect for all of the work that she's doing and the podcast that she runs with
Josie and Abby, yeah.
Yes, it's a beautiful podcast. You should take advantage of that. We're fortunate. We have a real team, and one of them is sitting right there, Bill Riley.
Yes.
And Cheryl Mullings used to be the secretary of the REC. Really, we need everyone to get into the mood and the activity that is required for us to really win again. We did turn the Palm Beach County red, as I said, unexpectedly from the perspective of the Democrats. But it's hard work to keep doing it. You can't just sit back and say it's going to happen. Well, you don't sit on laurels. You really have to work. And so I'm going to appeal to you again. Any of you who would volunteer to help John get those petitions signed. Now, anyone can sign them. It doesn't matter what party. It just enables him to get sufficient ballots. How many do you need, John?
1,635 or pay $8,000. I'd rather not pay the $8,000.
So we're going to help him do that. There is a sign-in sheet outside. Please sign your name because, I'm going to call you anyway. And I have done that. I spent Monday calling folks. I spent Sunday calling folks. And I will do it again. It's the only thing that brings people out. They don't pay attention to emails, folks. Texting, maybe, but it's a phone call, and usually I just say, hi, I'm your neighbor, and I always get a return call with that. I don't give my name. I do, actually. I say my name, I don't say from where or what. It's important to be a neighbor and share some of the important things that we are doing as a Republican club, as a Republican Party. And we're fortunate that we have an opportunity to really overcome what is happening in our communities. And we're not blind to it. We really see everything, and we don't have to watch any of the stations to know this is going on. We see it ourselves. So please help us win again. I think at some point you'll see Peggy come and speak. She had done several of these for us when the legislature's not in session. And we're going to, I'm reminding you now, March 26th, we're going to have the Sheriff's Office provide us with these volunteers who did a fabulous job in their presentation earlier about how to avoid being scammed. And it's happening so much. You really believe that the people who are on that phone or accessing your computer in some way. And they give us a very good lesson That's March 26th. And now I am going to say thank you to everyone for coming. I would like the candidates to say the following. Say good night, candidates. You remember Gracie? Say good night, Gracie. Say good night, candidates. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming tonight. Help yourself to some of the refreshments. We have it at every meeting. And we have wonderful people who help make that happen. Shmuel is one. My beautiful friend back there, Rachel, come on. Who made the thing on Jennifer Lee, who can't do anything about Hush. She's able to reach places I never can.
Mike is holding them. Let me go get some.
Robert,
Yes, absolutely.